Okay, now we've got our hooks all done up, ready to be tied up. You can tie them on different ways. I quite often just use a uni knot, so it's just through the eye, 5 or 6 loops. Doesn't really seem to matter which you do. I've done it on 4 and it's held just as well. Bit of lube on there. I'm using 40-pound nylon. Telling lies, 50-pound. Pull that up nice and tight. Trim off your tag. And now the trick is to get the right length, and this is where a lot of people muck up. Whatever long line clips you're using, I have a real assortment here from a couple of different people. They're just what I still have. Give yourself enough line to tie it on. I always cut more than I really need. So I'm right-handed, so I prefer to tie that way around. Through your loop. And just measure it up. You've got to allow enough line so that when you pull that line up tight, it'll stretch and go over here. You don't want it too slack. So I find that if I stretch it tight, give it about an inch to slide up, and then tie me knot. We'll see how accurate this goes. Need some glasses, will be handy. And we're just about there. Just keep measuring it, checking it, recheck it. There it is. And you're done. Nothing tricky about it. It's just, you'll make a few mistakes. Some you have to retie because you're half an inch short. But there's your trace, all ready to go, tied on. As I say, there's no fancy knots or anything. And there you have it. And we just repeat the process. Take off your tag ends, get rid of all your junk. Tough knot. So tie your hook on first. I lost the enemy line already. Now if you want to do different knots, you can do what you like. This one I'm just gonna got a bit of glue in there, put that through. The tag end is only just coming down just past my knot. I don't want much on there as well. Now I can wrap it back up the hook 5 or 6 times, bring it back underneath, up through there, and you're done. It's really neat, and plus it gives you a bit of extra wrapping around the head, which will give you some protection, and all those little critters that like to chew on stuff. And there you go, I've made it too short, so I've got to redo it. Didn't measure it properly. So, happens to us all. Lucky I've got plenty of line. I'll allow a bit more this time. Take it up, fold your tag over, so it's just there past where you've tied off on the head of your lure. 5 or 6 wraps around. And that's just a nice simple way of doing it, and plus it gives you that extra protection that you get right up round the head. You can see the line wrapping up through there. So yeah, not a bad thing to have. Now, crikey, everything I pick up's wrong. I like to use a lot of plastic tubing. It keeps everything flying straight and away from the main line. Yeah, mixed reactions on what people think about them. You either do like them or you don't like them. It's just whatever you want to do. If you want to put float balls on here, you can. Five or six times, back through the first loop. Once you can see it. Pull it up, stretch it up. Crank it into place. Oh, still not straight. And there it is. Same sort of thing. On a tube, doesn't twist up, it'll hang when you're flying. Just down to personal preference. Some people don't like them, don't use them. Others, as I say, just like a beer hook, none of this flash on it, and still catches fish. Alright, I'll do one more before we turn it off. Tag end off. I don't get too precise with this. Yes, it's a bit of a waste of time. Right, we'll just do that long line knot again. Just come up underneath. And it's only just going past the tag end. A little bit of extra tag hanging down there is not going to hurt anything. Put anything off, wrap it nice and neat in a row. Work your way back over where you've done your binding. Back up underneath. And there you have it. Extra protection around the head, helps hold all that in, and you're up and running. Now, just depending on what you're into, you may want to put a float on there. The theory is it lifts it off the bottom and keeps it away from the crabs. If you want to swim that, you need to really go into the bathroom, put that in a basin of water, and then see how many floats it takes to lift that off the bottom. If you're going to put bait on there, obviously, you may need extra floats, so try it at home. You may find that the size baits you're fishing, you want 2 or 3 floats per line. If it's a smaller bait, one might be sufficient. One float should lift that off easy enough in the water. I've had mixed success on these. Real hit and miss for me. If you want to fly that up off the bottom, but keep it away from there, just put a loop back through there again and pull it up, and that'll keep that away from here if you're worried about it. So that'll lift up and then that'll fish free behind it. And you can see where we're going. I haven't left enough room again. My batting average is pretty poor today. I'll throw one on just for the hell of it. See if I can get this tied up pretty short. I haven't left enough room. Much harder when you don't leave yourself enough room. Get that tag end up. Oh, I may have gotten away with it. I may have to redo it. Now I've made it too long. So there you go.